Well, Silas, tell us your story about Hardin-Simmons. How did you end up coming to Hardin-Simmons?
Well, I went to Berry College for 4 years, and I worked as a student in sports. I was just, they got me working basketball games, and I was getting paid to miss dunks because I was filming the game, but I was watching the game. And so eventually I got better at that. But and then I graduated, and they said, hey, you're pretty good at this. And they put my resume up on a website, and a couple weeks later, Chad Grubbs called me and said, hey, you want a job? And I'm like, I'd love a job. He's like, okay, it's in Texas. And I was like, nice. And then they flew me down here on the week of July 4th, and I got to meet Matt Brackett, Marcus Wood, and Bart Craig, and I was like, working with these guys? Yeah, this is like awesome. It's like a family.
Yeah. What is it about sports that you love so much? Because it's a part of your, it's a part of your life.
Well, I always played football growing up. I played some other sports, but I wasn't very good at them. Especially now that I don't play sports. It's like you're in the game, but you're not in the game. You're on there on the table, definitely not cheering, because that would be bad, because we're unbiased in the sports industry. But it just keeps you going and makes you feel like, and especially now here at Hardin-Simmons, it's like, those kids' experience is, I don't have that much to say about it, but if I can make it any better, that's what I try to do when I was in class with the kids, and that's what I try to do now that I'm.
You mentioned when we were talking before about every week's a record. What do you mean by that?
Well, there's a lot of very good teams here at Hardin-Simmons, and sometimes we get over the fact, like me writing, oh, Kyla Holland ran another race and broke Sydney Tinkett's record, or oh yeah, track broke another record, or oh yeah, our tennis team is the best tennis team ever, beating last year's best tennis team ever, beating the year before that. There's a lot going on here, and not everybody's a track facade or a tennis facade, but it's just they keep bringing in kids, and they keep getting better, and they keep just growing the family, man. They're good.
Very competitive, very competitive. It's tough sometimes it's so tough to find competitors to compete against because you're so competitive.
Yeah, we've had that problem in some other sports. I don't know if you've heard about people not wanting to play us. But.
Yes, I have. That's a big deal. What is it about writing? Because you do a lot of writing.
I hated writing because I was like, man, but then I was like, what if it's a soccer game and, oh no, the Cowgirls beat them like 5-0 again, or the Cowboys scored 6 goals against McMurray, and I'm like, I could just write, oh, little Tommy scored, or I could write, and Jacob Field had the first hat trick since Matt Pitcock, who's also on the, if you didn't catch that, and it's just another thing, like their mom, always getting every kid's name in there. If they had a nice play, but it wasn't a stat, just if you weren't at the game and you didn't watch it, you just make it where you can kind of read like, oh yeah, that's what happened in that game.
Well, I appreciate you doing that, because sometimes I can't be at the game, sometimes I can't stream it, and then I get a late night email from you and sent out to a lot of folks, hey, this is what happened, and it allows me to be a short part of that, but then also to tell the coaches, thank you for what you do each and every day, because they work hard. If there's one thing you could do each and every day for the rest of your life, what would that be?
Shoot. It's either retire and own a really nice putt-putt place. No, that'd be it. But it'd have to be the top of the line, the greatest putt-putt place.
So I didn't know you were in putt-putt. Where did that come from?
It's just fun, man. And going to the beach as a kid, you gotta go play putt-putt, or going anywhere, you gotta play putt-putt. We got some really good places around here.
Good deal. Ever have a car that you love, that you've always wanted to own, or that you did own that you hated?
Well, the first car, I used to drive my dad's old truck around that had roll-up windows, and then my mom saw this big, I was told him I wanted a big car, I was told him I wanted an Escalade, but we weren't in Escalade type of funds there, so my mom picked me up there was a Ford Expedition with the jumbo size back, and I was like, man, this is awesome. And turns out we bought a lemon, and man, I was going through a yellow light, and that thing's transmission went out, and I went from about 70 to about 30, and I was like, oh, bye-bye, car. I was very mad. Said some very nice things to that car, but it was my first put my name on that car.
That's a big car. That's a big truck.
It was very short-lived.
Well, thanks for coming. I appreciate what you do each and every week, and take care of reporting on our students. And I know you love the student athletes just because of the way you write. So thank you.
Well, thanks for supporting us always. And I know you've got a busy schedule, but it does mean the world when you're out there at a 40 mile an hour softball game and tap me on the back and say, hey man, what's up? So
I
it's always good to see
I
you.
don't stay long. Notice I don't stay long. Thanks for coming in.